SBF is going to pay his time in jail, but investors may pay something even worse that they didn't expect about it, even more probably than the loss that was on their account on FTX. And this is what we will dive in this video, because I think some Solana investors and some other token investors, maybe you held and you didn't know, you need to be really careful about what's happening. First, we have to remember that FTX hold more than $1 billion of different tokens and different crypto. Hey, by the way, welcome on Handsome Finance, where we dive in what's happening on chain, because the blockchain is an open ledger where we can read all the transactions that happen, so we know who is sending money to who and the amount. And like this, we can know who are the best investors, who are the worst, and we can know what are they doing versus what are they saying. And today's case is going to be how we can protect ourselves from the fall of FTX that is going to continue, and maybe even profit from it, because we received some reports that says what are their full holdings, which crypto they have, and we know which addresses were used by the exchange, so we can know how much crypto they actually have now, which means when the liquidation process is going to happen, so whoever's in charge of this, the judge or whatever, they're going to be, all right, we need to sell this to pay the investors, is going to drop on the market. And that's why we will dive in the worst one first, which is Solana. FTX have like 42 million tokens of Solana. And if you think, oh, it's okay, I don't have Solana, or I just want to see Solana, you're going to see what's next. It's even worse, because there's another entity that we forget about that is going to do the exact same thing. So 42 million tokens, which represented in August 31st, 1 billion. And when we check the Solana price, in August, it was around $20. So now we are at $60. So that's 3 billion for a market cap that is 24 billion. Now, if you think that, oh, that means we're just going to go down to 21 billion, it's not like that at all. Because when there is a forced selling like this, 24 billion is the top of the market. It means if everyone was able to sell their token Solana at $60, that will be the price. But it's not going to happen, because people are going to sell more, and you can have a cascading effect. So until we know what's going to happen on the liquidation process, it's super dangerous to have a big share of Solana today. At least that's my opinion, which is actually validated by the fact, because a 2% difference in the price will be pushed only if we were selling for more than 2 million of Solana on Binance. So imagine if you sell 3 billion, the price will move drastically, and we could expect a drop of 30 to even 50%. But that's not the only thing. You could dive in all the report of FTX, but luckily CoinGecko did a part of the job, and you know I'm French, so I'm lazy. So if they did the job of research, I'm going to surf on it. We have some APT token. Honestly, I don't know that one. XRP, it's so old school now. Some STG. So those one, and BIT. Man, if you saw my post about BIT, we already have an entity that dropped $1 million of BIT. I don't know if it's a really good project, but what's happening around BIT with people dropping their case like this, it's going to be a tough time. But of course, we're on a Handsome Finance, so we're going to dive in deeper. And we know that FTX have a big holding of FTT. Now, if you told me that 2 months ago, we say, who cares? Because FTT is worthless. Well, it's crypto, and we are a bunch of agents that make the price of FTT pumped to $3. So it recovered 270% from the all-time low. That's crazy. So people knows that they're going to get dumped by the liquidation process. I don't know how it's going to happen, when it's going to happen, but I know that when the news is going to be out, everyone is going to be scared and selling their stack. So I will be super careful of holding some FTT token that, by the way, what are we doing? What is the use case? Why are we buying it? Tell me, guys. I was not in the plan. Why am I left out of the plan? I wear polo. I thought I would be invited to the party. And before getting into another entity that you should be super careful of, we're going to check the other tokens that you might have that could have this problem as well. So we get some Tomo, not a Tomahawk, that is a pretty good stake. We got some Xoke, some Boba, some Toncoin, some Leo, some JT. I'm French. G. Every time I get it wrong. That's why we have a comment section. By the way, thank you to everyone that leaves a comment. Honestly, for a new channel, a small channel like this, it means a lot to me. And that brings me so much happiness. But that's not the only holdings of FTX. I had to cross data points. We have some TRX, some BTC, of course, some AVAX, some TON, some HXRO, some JT. We say that before. We had a problem with it. Some AMPL, JMT. And then after, it's a bit too small, so we're not going to care. By the way, if you want to know if your token is going to have a problem, you simply type the name of the token on your favorite crypto tracker of prices. So we're going to take Boba here. Then I scroll down and I can see how much money can move the price of Boba. And here it's just a few $1,000, 30 to 40 across the data points with what we had here. And they are holding 20 millions. So when the liquidation of FTX is going to happen, and hopefully they're going to make it linear, but still dumping all those tokens is going to drive the price of Boba down. Anyway, Boba, bubble tea, that's something from the past as well. That was the peak of FTX time. I was in Taiwan drinking bubble tea every day. And that's why we're going to dive in the second entity that you should be super careful of, which is, drum roll, Alameda. Quick background, Alameda was created by FTX. So what they did is FTX printed their own token. They lent it to Alameda, and Alameda borrowed against FTT, did a loan, obtained free money, profit, repeat. And that's why we had this spiral that created the death of FTX. Well, one of the reasons, I think the haircut of SBF was also a problem, but apparently they didn't address this in the trial. I don't know why I wasn't invited to speak at this trial, maybe because I'm just a comedian. And our good old Alameda Research hold around 300 million of tokens, USD balance. That's pretty good. We got some BIT again, the usual suspect, huh? We got some STG, some WLD, some Ethereum, some FTT, some WXRP, wrapped XRP, some Matic. We have Render as well. Wow, Render, who had a pump. Oh no, they don't have it anymore. So now you know all the tokens that may be impacted by the drop of FTX and the liquidation process. So what you should be careful of is either if you have a big holding in those crypto, well, first take some of your profit, please, and give yourself a massage or whatever you want, but don't get too much in. Of course, I don't know what's going to happen. Price can still pump. We are just here to try to get as much information to take the best decision. We are never going to take the perfect decision because the only thing perfect on this channel is my face and a number of thumbs up. No, but we are not looking to take the perfect decision, but to have the best process. And checking what's happening on chain and all those data help to take better decision. And that's what I invite you to do. Now, of course, if you're adventurous, you could, why not, short some of those coins because you know what's going to happen. But then we don't know exactly when it will happen and everything. So personally, I'm going to stay away from it. It requires too much of my time to follow everything that's going to happen on this. But if I can know early, then maybe I might try to take a little banknote here and there. Anyways, if you want to dive in this, check the link in the description because I'm starting to build something where we have few researching on this and give you a lot more insights before I do the video so we can have more information, more intelligence, and we just get the best investors in the gang. That's it. Check the link in the description or in the comments. It was a pleasure to do this video. You should check this video about these influencers. There's too many this in one go, but who knows? Why are we watching a channel by a Frenchman speaking English? I don't know. This guy have a strange portfolio and some holdings you should be careful of. It was a pleasure. Stay handsome and ciao.